DC is interested in expanding curbside charging in the district because we know that transportation is the second largest emitter of greenhouse gases within the district. And it's our hope that expanding curbside charging access is going to be a really effective way to help electrify some of our transportation options. The first step is to shift residents and tourists into more sustainable forms of transportation like walking, biking, or taking public transit. But we also know that some trips are going to require a vehicle, and we want to ensure that in those cases, all of those trips are through electric cars. And particularly within the district, we know that over 2/3 of residents live in multifamily home buildings, and they're utilizing a lot of street parking spaces where they don't have access to their own private parking and private charging stations for any electric vehicles. Even before we had installed our first curbside charging stations, we knew from residents that curbside charging was one of the most requested charging solutions and some of the most requested charging locations that residents had voluntarily submitted to us. They were constantly telling us they wanted curbside locations outside of their home, outside of their apartment building. And so we knew that there was this pent-up demand for more charging at the curb.
So DDOT installed its first curbside chargers where we own, operate, and maintain them about a decade ago outside the Reef Center and Canal Park. And learnings from that installation helped us understand the challenges behind operation and maintenance for curbside charging. And so our result from that is developing a permit program for vendors to apply for a public space permit to install, operate, and maintain curbside chargers in the district. The first pilot chargers were installed outside the Festival Center in Ward 1 in Adams Morgan, and this is the first of 8 chargers that will be installed, 1 in every ward.
The RMI facilitated cohort really allowed us to connect with different cities that were at different stages of their own curbside charging journey, because it brought together different cities across the country that have really figured out curbside charging, are sort of just embarking on that process now, and then some cities like Washington, D.C. who are really sort of in the middle of that. And it helped us to not only learn from and ask questions from other cities that have been deploying charging stations for a handful of years now, but also share some of the experiences that we've had in crafting this pilot program with other cities that are just starting off now, and make some really valuable connections with other cities and some industry groups to really learn from and just continue building out what we're doing here in the district.